Brandmeister, so if somebody blips up the Brandmeister side, it does trample over me slightly onto the Raynet UK side. So I have Golf 8 Kilo Lima Charlie, good afternoon Phil, Golf 8 Sierra Golf Uniform, good afternoon Bob, copied you in and out, and Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee, good afternoon Mike. Any other 8s please, G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC, nothing heard from the 8s, so let's go for the 7s. Stations figure 7 in their call sign please, G4 and RC, over.
So good afternoon Greg, G70JA, Oscar Juliet Alpha Paul.
G4 and RC, just making sure we do actually have a link to Brandmeister, so calling on the Brandmeister side. Okay, copy call, G70JA received you. Let's see if that resets the bridge so that we've got the two networks linked again. Any other 7s please, G4 and RC, over.
Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar, good afternoon Greg, hello.
G4 and RC has Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar, but it's not making it back through to Brandmeister again. Looks like I'm going to be running the net strangely across two handsets, just stand by. G4 NRC has got Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar. Good afternoon Dave. The bridge is proving intermittent between the Raynet network and Brandmeister, working occasionally. So I'll have to see what I can hear to do it both ways. Okay, no more 7s, let's try the 6s. This is G4 and RC, over.
Golf 6 Papa Delta Echo, G6 PDE, Chris, no traffic in and out.
G4 and RC, got Chris, Golf 6 Papa Delta Echo, copied you, in and out, thanks Chris. Any other 6s, over?
Mike 6 November Yankee India, Alan, Pheonix Raynet, over.
G4 and RC, good afternoon Alan, Mike 6 November Yankee India, got you, and you managed not to show on either dashboard that time. Fantastic, okay, didn't hear any more 6s after that then, so I'll go for 5, stations figure 5 in the call, G4 and RC. Okay, nothing heard from the 5s, so we'll go stations figure 4 in their call sign to call into the RAYNET-UK activity period, G4 and RC, over. G4 RC, second call, any stations figure 4 in their call sign to join the RAYNET-UK activity period, please call now, G4 and RC, over. Again, okay, G4 and RC, nothing here from the 4s, so we'll go for 3, stations figure 3 in their call sign, please go ahead, G4 and RC, over.
Golf 3 Victor, Echo Hotel. Good afternoon, Greg. 3BH Winchester, no traffic.
Okay, G4NRC's got Chris, Golf 3 Victor Echo Hotel. Good afternoon to you. Any other threes, please? G4NRC, over.
Golf 3 Zulu Hotel X-Ray, Ian. In and out this week. Thank you, Greg.
G4NRC, good afternoon, Ian, and copied you in and out. Thanks for that. Let's go for the two stations with figure 2 in their call sign, usually aimed at the intermediates. Please call now. This is G4NRC, over. G4NRC, second call for any stations, figure 2 in their call sign, go ahead. This is G4NRC, over. G4NRC, nothing heard, so let's try for the ones. Stations with figure 1 in their call sign, please. G4NRC, over. G4NRC, second call, any stations with figure 1 in their call sign, please. G4NRC, over. G4NRC, nothing heard, so we'll try for the Mike Zero stations of any regional secondary identifier, please. G4NRC, over.
Mike Zero, Golf Uniform Yankee Mobile. Mike Zero, Juliet Alan, in and out today, please, Greg.
Juliet, Uniform Juliet, Mike, in church notices and out. Thanks, Greg.
G4NRC, okay. Oops. Oh, looks like I've missed one. So I've got Mike Zero, Juliet Sierra Alpha, Alan in and out. Mike Zero, Juliet Uniform Juliet, also in and out. And Mike Zero, Golf Uniform Yankee Mobile. Good afternoon, Guy. There was another Mike Zero station there for sure, so let's try for any more. Mike Zero stations of any regional secondary identifier, please. G4NRC, over.
Mike Zero, Mike Foxtrot Sierra, Blue, in and out.
Mike Zero, Mike Foxtrot Sierra. Hello. It's definitely slow coming through the bridge, that's fine. So I've got Drew, Mike Zero, Mike Foxtrot Sierra came through the bridge that time. I'm missing Mike Zero, Tango Golf Charlie. So David, I can see you on a dashboard. You're managing to double perfectly with others. Do you want to call again? M0 TGC, G4NRC, over.
Mike Zero, Tango Golf Charlie, David East Devon, in and out, please, Greg, over.
G4NRC, thank you, David. Mike 0 Tango Golf Charlie, copied you in and out. Okay, any other Mike 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier, please? G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC, nothing heard, so we'll go for Golf 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier, please, over.
Golf Whiskey 0, Juliet Lima X-ray. Andy, good afternoon, Greg. No traffic, so in and out. Thank you. Over.
G4 and RC's got Andy, Golf Whiskey 0, Juliet Lima X-ray, and copied in and out. Thank you, Andy. Any other Golf 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier, please? G4 and RC, over. G4 and RC, nothing heard. So can I have any missing UK stations? Any UK stations who missed their turn as I went through the numbers, please call me at G4 and RC. Okay, G4 and RC, there's no strays for the UK, so let's go for any international liaison stations, usually Nordsamband in Norway or Arran in Ireland. Please go ahead. G4 and RC, over.
Echo India 5, India Go Bravo. It's Tom here in Dublin. No traffic for me at all, Greg, so in and out.
Lima Alpha 6 India, my name is Hans.
Okay, G4 and RC's got Echo India 5, India Echo Bravo. Good afternoon, Tom. Copied you in and out. And Hans, I saw you checking the system before you joined, so we obviously got you in check-in time. By the looks of it, you might be staying with us, so thanks for that. Okay, apologies for the slightly lumpy check-in, but we do have a one-way bridging, certainly defective bridging going on through Brandmeister. So I'm talking through the Brandmeister side to get the widest audience, and it's just like being on a real event for only being able to hear half the stations. So hopefully, in church notices, today's net might be being live streamed by Graham, G7 and the H again. So if you look at YouTube and search G7 and the H, the live stream and recording of the net is available by searching for his call sign on youtube.com. Last week's net's got 39 views in total just before this one, and I think it was a peak of 7 while it was live. Graham was just having a few issues setting up pre-net, so hopefully he's been able to sort it out now. And I think it's almost answering its own question whether it would be a benefit for those who don't have digital modes. Whether I'd like a camera on me while I'm doing this, while I'm realising what's broken, is a different challenge. We have got a very mixed rainy weather outlook for the country today. It's rainy here in Cheshire, but I noted we've got 30-degree temperatures still expected in parts of the southeast, but thunderstorm and heavy rain warnings in Northern Ireland and Scotland. We don't have many events listed for Raynet today, which is probably why we're back up to 17 people attending on the net. But the school summer holidays starting this week expect delays, etc., as the population moves south to try and sink Cornwall and Devon and other holiday destinations. And an idle question is, do you actually track who is out of area in your groups? So do you know who's available to you if you have a call-out? We did have a server outage earlier on this week. It wasn't obviously heat related, but Guy fixed it as soon as we realised what the issue was, and I was struggling between how do we diagnose this versus how many people do we tell we have an issue. So kudos to those who raised it on Facebook and noted what was going on, and therefore got the prompt news that it was fixed. Remember, we do have the ties to Brandmeister for a reason, so if either server is down, then at least at a national level we have resilience. That'll probably do for the church notices so far, so I'll work down the list I've got, starting with Phil, Golf 8 Kilo Lima Charlie, G4 and RC, over.
Yes, G4 and RC in the group G8 KLC. Yeah, good afternoon, Greg, and to everybody else. Yeah, I don't think we've had no equipment failures due to the heat, although we do have a heart-stopping moment. It was a little strange. The back of our house faces south so it gets the sun, and some clever design put the copper gas pipe along the south-facing face of the house. And just as it got really hot, there was a couple of pings and a thud. And a couple of clips had given way and had sprung open. That was a bit worrying. And filling the pipe was a bit warm as well. So I'm not quite sure why building regs allow copper pipes outside of buildings with interesting stuff flowing, but they do. But we didn't get a leak, and I've got replacement clips, so we'll sort all that out. So that was the highlight of the week. And I suspect your highlight was probably the COM meeting on Monday, which I'm sure you'll tell us more about. G4DUV, no, correction. G4NRC, my apologies. G8 KLC.
G8 KLC, G4 NRC returning, so having to do like a net control would do. For those of the Brandmeister side that didn't hear any of that, Phil just had one little heart-stopping moment as the rear of his house faces south, and the copper gas pipe exposed runs on that face of the house. So in the high temperatures, a couple of pipe clips pinged off in the heat. Luckily, no leak. Phil, I don't think it's a building regs problem. I think that's more a gas regulations problem. Usually when I see gas pipes external, they are lagged or shrouded in some manner, and most of them nowadays seem to be the yellow stuff anyway. In terms of meetings, I've had a swing of them this week with those and nets and other things. So, come meeting, yeah, we probably need a phone call sometime. Of course, had a Merseyside Raynet meeting and a West Cheshire net in the mix of this as well. So, head is slightly mashed. This has been a weekend of recovery. But yeah, probably worth a search with your friendly gas fitter when they come to maintain your boiler, whether or not that pipe is legit. Okay, next on the list is Mike, Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee, G4 and RC, over.
G4 NRC from G8 EEY from a nice quiet week in sunny Norfolk. Yeah, 31 degrees C and bright sunshine here, I'm afraid, in parched Norfolk. 1,010 millibars, 220-degree wind, 19 miles per hour, and 30% relative humidity, and no sign of rain at the moment till at least Monday or Tuesday. Yeah, it's been a busy week, starting Thursday the previous week with planning for the LRF, which is good because in years gone by they never planned anything ahead of the event. So when the field fire started on Tuesday, we had 4 or 5 separate fires running. We had vehicles on fire on the A140, obviously property loss and a lot of scorched earth. I'm not aware of any casualties at this stage, but I guess we'll get a report. The fire services were the main people involved and 4x4. Raynet basically had the most difficult job of actually sitting monitoring communications against any outage due to thermal stress on communications equipment. None occurred, which is the main thing. But 14 hours basically on the radio without anything really to do other than keep in contact can be a bit sort of, yeah, well, it's part of the job, isn't it? The A11 turned basically into an off-road test surface. I saw some pictures where there were basically concrete sleeping policemen appearing at random across the lanes of the A11. But it all seems to be quiet at the moment. Obviously, they're doing the recovery phase for those people displaced from where they used to have houses or cottages. That's about it from me, so it's over to G4 NRC.
G4 NRC, returning to Golf Echo Echo Yankee. Sorry, just have to turn the Raynet side down so I can then come back on Brandmeister for the benefit of all. Okay, this is where you found out how good my logging is, of course, Mike. So Mike's report is current week in Norfolk, currently 31 degrees centigrade and sunny, pressure 1010 millibars, winds 220 degrees at 90 miles per hour, 30% relative humidity, and no rain in sight until Monday and Tuesday, which is unfortunate given the fires, etc., which were happening down in the southeast. Mike was involved in planning with the LRS to respond to those incidents. No casualties got reported. Fire service and 4x4 were more directly involved, but Raynet was on standby for 14 hours, watching for outages on equipment. Norfolk now generally, or is now more generally in recovery phase for those displaced from homes, and presumably, as you reported, the Highways Agency fixing various new concrete features that emerged on the A11 as everything melted. Slight commentary on the temperature. We at work, which shall never be mentioned, planned for this kind of temperature on a 1 in 50 year basis. Obviously we beat that. Now they're saying it's more like a 1 in 3 or 4 year basis, according to the chief meteorologist at the Met Office. So there's some very fast work got to be done to figure out how to harden electronic systems against higher temperatures. Okay, next on the list it's Taqlk, Golf 7 Oscar Juliet Alpha, who's been chasing his daughter around doing college and university graduations. So congratulations to Josie Paul. G70JA, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, G70JA. Yes, she sat next to me, completely oblivious to that comment, but thank you all the same, Greg. And hope you and the family are doing well as well. Not much to report from a rather soggy Peak District at long last. One major fire in the area at the start of the week. Idiots with a gas camping stove up on Win Hill near Castleton in Edale. Fire Brigade reckon upwards of £250,000 money that one incident cost them. They ended up having to bring in a helicopter with a bucket to douse it. Other than that, condolences to all the colleagues over in Cheshire on the sad news regarding the silent key of G8HAV last week, and they're just waiting to hear from Phil, HUF, for later arrangements. Certainly want to get over for that one. Other than that, not a lot else to report. We've had the big walking events with Derbyshire Dales the past few weeks. We've got another one coming up in a fortnight, the Dovedale Dipper. Anything up to 400 entrants in that running, walking, 26-mile route. Some difficult comms involved, but Jim G1HUL doing his normal Sterling service will have it all covered with our crossband repeater. Other than that, 73s to everyone on the net, and yeah, I might flip over and see if the live stream's working. So wish everyone a very good afternoon, and hopefully catch up with you all a bit further down the log. G4NRC, G70JA, I'll probably be going QRT before too long. Cheers, Greg.
Okay, that's Paul. G70JA, this is G4NRC. Okay, yeah, I know what happens. Becca's fairly oblivious to things now. She's got into university mode herself. So for the benefit of the rest, Soggy Peak District now, which is a relief. One fire earlier in the week in the area caused by a camping stove. Fire brigade estimate the cost of the incident to deal with the results of the fire were around £250,000. Aircraft having to be deployed to deal with some of the consequences. Derbyshire Dales has another big walking event coming up in a couple of weeks with 400 entrants expected to be involved, but will be covered by usual crossband repeaters, etc. And yes, Paul, haven't put it in because I'm kind of waiting for other announcements to go through, but yes, Dane Valley Raynet, former controller Peter Paul Fox, GAHAV, passed away. He'd already been already handed the reins over to Phil Bagley, G4HUF, who's the new group controller for Dane Valley Raynet. But it is 2 losses within Zone 10 within a few weeks of each other, and causing quite a bit of thought about how do you hand over a group when something like that happens. Okay, thanks, Paul. Hopefully there's a live stream for you to go to. Got you marked out as of this one, so 7 3s to you. Next, it's Dave, Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar, G4 and RC.
G4 NRC, Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar. Good afternoon, Greg. Good afternoon, everyone. Yep, live stream is working fully on being a lifesaver for me today. Paul and the chap before him, I can't remember his name, were the only way I could hear their conversation was through the live stream. As you say, the bridge between Brandmeister and the Raynet server is not working correctly. So I've just turned the volume down on the live stream at the moment because it's got a slight delay on it, and it could get confusing. But I'm now receiving you very well, Greg. Not a great deal to have this weekend. Just my apologies for missing the 6-metre net. I was all set up and ready to go, but been a long week at work, and I must admit I nodded off in the chair. Back to you, Greg. Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar.
Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar, G4 and RC returning. Thanks, Dave. That's the one call on the net so far I haven't got to relay through to everybody else. Since you came in a Brandmeister, so everybody heard that one. But yeah, the 6-metre net, slight frustration. I know we've had this issue on the DNR net as well. We had a number of stations come up on our 6-metre net in West Cheshire were available for it, but because they didn't hear net control, they sat quietly. As net control, aka me, discovered that a BNC adapter decided to fall apart once it was up in the air, so it got highest WR not putting the best signal out. So we lost a bit of an opportunity because stations were out there, couldn't hear what was going on, and didn't do a quick call up just to see if anybody else was active on the net. So we had, I think 4 of us were up for sure, but only 2 of us were in communication and knowing that the other one was there. The other 2 were silent, so it was an interesting one, and I'm still figuring out how to do the debrief for that. Okay, let's say that was really more on that one. That's a commentary back. So next I can go to Alan, Mike 6 November Yankee India, G4 and RC over.
And RC M6 MYI/P at the moment. Yeah, good afternoon, Greg. I hope everything's fine with you. I haven't got much to add, really. It's been very hot down in the southeast in Kent, but yeah, it's been okay, really. Anyway, back to you. G4 NRC, Mike 6 November Yankee India /P.
Mike 6 November Yankee India Portable, G4 and RC returning. Okay, Alan, for the others, Alan reported hot in Kent, which is not good given the amount of traffic piling up trying to get out of Dover and or Eurotunnel. So Alan, don't know whether there's any plans for Operation Stack or otherwise to try and manage the traffic going out through the ports. But yeah, you were very much in the focus of the news down there for too many reasons this week. Be glad when the spotlight moves on to somebody else. Okay, next on my list is Chris. Golf 3, Victor Echo Hotel, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, G3V, yeah, it's okay, yeah, Greg. Thanks for putting it all together. Yeah, other than the weather report for the week, it's been hottest day was Tuesday, reached 25 here in Winchester. It's on the hills outside Winchester, but currently it's about 24 at the moment. Bluish sky mostly. Nice stiff breeze. Interesting to know the solar panels have been working fairly hard, but in the heat, they produce less output than when they're really cold. I suppose it's a bit like this International Space Station. They have to chill the solar panels to make sure they get the energy out to keep the thing going. At least I don't have to chill mine, at least I could do, but it's not worth it. Anyway, other than that, that's it from me. Have a good week, and thanks for putting it all together, as I say. G4NRC, G3VH Winchester.
Golf 3, Victor Echo Hotel, G4NRC, returning. Okay, that's coming out on that one then, Chris. Chris reporting 24 degrees, blue sky, slight breeze down in Winchester. That's going to make my daughter unhappy since she's back up here again. Having moved her into a digs in Winchester, she's come back up to us. And here's in the rain. Chris, interesting observation about solar panels working hard, producing less power in the heat, and that the ISS space station has active chilling on them. Was something I've noticed. Graham and I have got a variety of solar panels to test after donation, which we're just going to throw out on the ground and see how they worked in the same way that they would probably get deployed on an event. But in reality, I'm thinking we need to add an extra dimension to the test and put any field deployed solar panels up on a couple of milk crates or something like that, just to get a breeze underneath them, because you're quite right, the hotter it gets, the less they give. Okay, we've got 2 stations left to call in. So, sorry, 732, Chris. I'm not sure out on that one by the implication. So, next it's to Guy, Mike 0, Golf Uniform, Yankee Mobile, G4NRC, over. G4NRC, nothing heard from Guy, so we might be transiting from car to house or otherwise. So I'll call him back in later. I've just been chastised. G7NEH, G7NEH, never copied a call in from you. Oh, sorry, you're on stream, but let's call him now, Graham. G7NEH, G4NRC, over.
G4 NRC, G7NEH. Good afternoon, Greg. Good afternoon to all on the net. Right, thank you for the comments on the live stream. Yeah, just about a minute late today. Just had some issues with the audio. I thought I'd set it up all correctly yesterday. When I came back to it, things had gone awry. But we are live streaming, and Dave, Paul, and Mike have commented in the chat box. Thanks very much to those. And we have 5 live viewers at present, and with a total of 8 views. And as you correctly said, last week's received 39 views in total. So there we go. Got quite a few YouTube videos to watch on live stream, so things will get hopefully get better in the next few weeks. But we're up and running, so no problem. Not much else to report from this end. As you say, absolutely pouring down with rain at the moment, which we would have been glad glad of last Monday or Tuesday. And like Dave, my apologies for missing the Group 6 meeting net on, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday. Tuesday, I think. So there we go. Back to you, G4NRC, G7NEH.
G7NEH, G4NRC returning. Good bit about running the semi-duplex across the two networks is I don't have to wait quite as long to pick you back up again. So for the benefit of those on Brandmeister, G7NEH, the live stream started a minute late due to some audio issues, which had been fine the day before, but decided to throw their hands up and discuss this afternoon. Currently, chat's live stream's got 5 live views, and thanks to those 3 people who've commented in the chat box already. And he confirmed 39 views last week, and Graham's got quite a few YouTube videos to catch up on, as have I. So I think we will have some improvements to make, possibly, as we improve and refine this before we make it go live. Maybe onto the national Raynet-UK channel. And some of the bugs have eaten out, but meanwhile, for the people here, please do go and search G7NEH on YouTube and have a look at the live stream and tell us what could be better. Okay, final one on this round properly is Hans. Lima Alpha 6 India Mike. What direction is the rain travelling in Norway today, Hans, from G4NRC? Over.
G4NRC, Lima Alpha 6 India Mike returning. Very good afternoon to yourself and the rest of the group, Greg. First, one comment. When you changed to Brandmeister, this is Raynet, your modulation quality actually went down, so you're better for Raynet. That's just a side issue. When it comes to rain directions or wind directions, actually it's a variable thing. Started off northerly, turned westerly, and went back to northerly. Temperatures at the moment about 15, 16 degrees. It's been a rainy day. It's been a windy day, gusts up to 18 meters per second. So at least we are not having the same temperatures as you are at the moment. We had some earlier, but no biggies. Last week, or last Sunday, I think I basically blocked my own hotspot as I was maybe too close to it. I was using a jumbo spot and was absolutely unable to get through. Today I'm using another hotspot at home, not from my caravan, and with a bit more distance, so at least I'm supposed to go through Raynet, and hopefully I am. Won't keep it. Take care, all of you, and see you next Sunday. G4NRC, Lima Alpha 6 in the mic.
Lima Alpha 6 India Mike, G4NRC returning. Okay, Hans, yeah, I thought I'd ask for the weather, because, as I said last week, I'm watching some YouTubers progress up Norway, and they have the same variable horizontal rain versus bright sunshine that you described last week. So, yeah, Norway weather today, 16 degrees, rainy, 18 meters per second wind. Do need to have a look. There's supposed to be a quick mental conversion to do meters per second into miles per hour. I don't think it's quite as simple as doubling it. Understand your problems last week with the jumbo spots. You suspect you were too close to it, but this hotspot this week is working fine. You were solid copy throughout that. I'm also in the throes of building up a new hotspot. Chinese LMDV board prices reduced back to more reasonable levels, so I got one so I can have a third more mobile hotspot. Understand your comments on my modulation quality when I switched to the Brandmeister side. When I went through the Brandmeister side of the net rather than going through the Raynet-UK server, that's quite likely to be to me totally changing radios, and I'm currently using a Baofeng RD5R, previously advertised as the cheapest PMR radio you could get. So that's what I'm using on the Brandmeister side, and my Linko is monitoring and using the RAYNET-UK server, and both of them go through different hotspots as well. So a couple of places where that modulation quality issue could have crept in. Okay, I'm going to, as Guy might be having a lot to play with and he was mobile, I'm going to go right back up to the top of the list and hit the second round. Can't think of any great comments for the second round. I did say last week Commonwealth Games are coming, 28th of July to the 8th of August, bringing 1 million people to the West Midlands. And had anybody done any rest sensor exercises recently? But the addition to that, for those who read Southgate ARC this morning, have some sympathies for our French colleagues, because the French regulator has decreed that for the Olympics in France in 2 years' time, I think it is, that they've already been told they're going to lose 2 meters and 70 centimeters, 1.3 gigahertz and 2.4 gigahertz in the vicinity of the Olympic parks, so that the Olympics can do what they need to do. So lots of prior warning for that one. Okay, back to the top for any finals and any further comments. G8KLC, G4 and RC, over.
G8KLC. No, nothing further, Greg. I'll give you the evening off. I'll give you a ring during the week. And no, we've had no rest center exercises over here, and there were none planned when I last spoke to the various emergency planning units. So that's the state at the moment. So 7th reason we'll speak during the week. G4 NRC, G8 KLC, just monitoring.
G8 KLC, G4 RC. Okay, so yeah, Phil, look forward to that call later on in the week. Thanks for clarifying you have checked no rest sensor exercises there, and you've spoken to various emergency planning units. As much as saying in Cheshire, we have to see our exercise calendar for the coming year or so, and with a backlog of coma exercises and stuff like that. There's nothing very generic in there that the voluntary sector can get its teeth into. Okay, so please, Phil, have a good week, and I will talk to you later on in the week. Next to Mike, Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee, G4 RC.
G4 NRC from GAEY. Yeah, our exercise calendar basically is flooding for most of the rest of the year. We've got a couple of exercises coming up. One possibly a bit more intense, but there's no public information on that as yet. Yeah, debriefing for the heat alert on Tuesday afternoon with the British Red Cross. That's about everything I've got to add at this stage. 73s, Greg. Hopefully see you next week if we've not burnt to a cinder. From G8 EEY.
Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee, G4 and RC. Okay, so there's the Brandmeister side. Mike's calendar is dominated by flood exercises for the coming year. Norfolk, why wouldn't you? We'll see whether or not your debriefing on Tuesday for the heat incidents with Red Cross might actually change that view of things going forward, of course. Okay, so 3s, Mike. See you next Sunday. About you'll have burnt down. Next to Dave for a final. Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar, G4 and RC. Over.
G4 NRC, Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar. Yeah, it's, as you say, still raining here in not so sunny Cheshire. Hopefully going to have a quieter week at work this week. So I will make this a short one, and yeah, hopefully catch up with you next Sunday for the net. The only other thing to add was you saying the Commonwealth Games on the Saturdays at the opening Saturday of the Commonwealth Games, there is also a national rail strike. So I would think a lot of the roads around the Midlands will be very, very congested as well. But, back to you, Greg. Mike 7, Alpha Victor Oscar.
Mike 7, Alpha Victor Oscar, G4 and RC. Okay, yeah, good point. That's called Situational Awareness Day. Nobody got through that one. So Commonwealth Games and significant road congestion. I keep forgetting the statistic from the Highways Agency, which is something like for every mile of tail back on there's a mile or a kilometre on a motorway, you're looking at potentially 1,000 people needing support. All 3 lanes full of standard-sized vehicles does give a lot of people to look after. Okay, I will try and watch that one with some interest. It might be the only thing that gets me interested in the Commonwealth Games, but that's just the way it is. And I second your comments about wanting a quieter week at work. It's just gone crazy, and we haven't even got to the depths of holiday season yet. Okay, down to Alan in Kent for a final Mike 6 November Yankee India Portable G4 and RC. Over.
I'm seeing Mike 6 November Yankee India Straight Portable. Yeah, very good after. I didn't say good afternoon to everybody on the net. But yes, it's very hot down here. We have had a few issues down in Dover, but we haven't been called for anything. So there we go. Kent Resilience Forum doesn't seem to do too much, but I'm not going to go into details. Anyway, thank you very much for running the net, Greg, and thank you for all the other stations out there. Back to you there, Greg. G4 NRC, Mike 6, November Yankee India Straight Portable.
Mike 6 November Yankee India Portable G4 NRC returning. Okay, Alan, yeah, it's nice to know you haven't been called out yet for any issues down in Dover. At least a few issues down there I recognise you, which is great. I think I see it with our county as well. LRFs will probably play the game of, well, that's not quite our incident. That's down to the Port Authority or the Highways England or whoever else, and play past the parcel. But at least you're aware, and hopefully you can still move around the county yourself and aren't impeded by stacked up tourists. Okay, I have just got 2 stations left potentially on the net. Next one should be, if he's back in proper range, Mike 0 Golf Uniform Yankee Mobile G4 and RC. Over.
Mike 0 Golf Uniform Yankee returning. Back in range. I've heard all of them actually. The range was in the back of the garden, doing 2 things. One is putting up a HF antenna in the woods, in the trees behind me, so you can't see it. And then the other is, yesterday I was hedge trimming, and I went through 2 Cat 5 cables and a power cable, which was not impressed. So my next task is to join those things back together again and hopefully restore some service to the top end of the garden. Otherwise, not much else to add. I'll have a look at what's happening with the bridge between Brandmeister and us. I've made no changes on that side of things, so not sure what's going on there. But we'll take a look when I get a chance later on this evening. Hopefully when it's cooled down a little bit and I can get near my computers. Not too crispy. What else? Oh yes, I did hear on the news that there are possible plans for rolling blackouts over winter. I know we don't want to think about winter at the moment when it's quite so warm, but it occurs to me that if we do have rolling blackouts, what happens to the mobile phone masts, which are all backed up for at most 45 minutes? So it could be interesting lack of communications
because obviously people's fibre optic internet will also go bye-bye, and that might leave people out in the wilderness. We had this discussion earlier, but it might be worth thinking about it some more, because it sounds like this might actually come to fruition. Other than that, thanks for running the net, Greg, and I will certainly look at this YouTube stream. Didn't know about that. We're going to have a check that out later on. Otherwise, nothing else to report, so I shall pass it back to you, Greg. Thanks for running the net. This is Mike Zero Golf Uniform Yankee, handing back to G4 NRC.
Mike Zero Golf Uniform Yankee, Chief for NRC returning. Okay, for the benefit of the Brandmeister side, Guy has been putting up a clandestine chef antenna in the trees behind his house, which is a plus. He also managed to cut 3 cables in his hedge, which is a definite minus. Feeling a Simpson-esque style, you will write 1,000 times, I should bury cables or make them very obvious. But it is a fair shout, Guy, but raising that one out loud. They put up all sorts of temporary installations for events and other things. How do we stop some genius doing some accidentally cutting or unplugging because they don't know what it is of cable routes? With regard to what you've seen on the news for possible rolling blackouts this winter, I might be interested offline what source you got that from. That's not something I'm envisaging at the moment. Gas production is higher than usually planned through summer because we are passing gas through us to fill up European reserves, our own reserves sitting at something like 80%. There are a priority set of things to be done, and it's 3-hour blackouts, which is what a rolling blackout looks like. There's no protection, as far as I recall, to mobile phone masts, because the blackouts are achieved at the 33 kV level, potentially, or even higher than that. It's not down at a local sort of street or otherwise basis. So phone masts would be vulnerable. That's why we've been talking about power resilience and how we could support the utilities, etc. So yeah, another call for that one, but at the moment I'm just worried about segregating news from LNG, the sky is falling, it's all going to be dark, versus what might actually happen in the UK and the data as it stands at the moment. But that's why we put out notices saying charge your batteries and be ready for failures. Okay, thanks for that. Probably a good conversation to have this week. Maybe we get a tech team meeting together and fully. Okay, final comments goes to Graham for the net this week. Since Hans signed out, so it's Graham G7 and the H. Over to you, G4 and RC. Over.
G4 and RC, G7 and the H. Yeah, okay, correct, no problem. A lot to add at this end. So the stats so far for the live stream, we had 11 views, and there's 4 viewing at the moment. And thanks to all those who commented in the chat box. Nice to see it's stable and it's going out, which are the comments that I'm getting. And if you've got any comments, i.e. on what you'd like to see on the screen, just drop them in the comments box below, and we can work on those. So that's about it from me, Greg. And obviously we'll be streaming again next week, all in time, I would hope. G4 NRC, G7 NEH.
G7 NEH, G4 NRC returning. Okay, thanks for doing the live stream this week, and the latest stats for those who aren't able to hear on the other side. It's for viewing. Any comments on content, please make them through YouTube, or you could always email them to Taqlk at Raynet-UK.net, and I will pass them on to Graham as required. One of the things to do, I think, about Graham, is that this is great. I mean, I run the net too often, for some people's liking, probably. Likewise, we need to make streaming something that we can diversify. So we need to think about how we can get that set up in OBS, copyable, so that others could run the stream and reduce the single point failures, because we shouldn't be in a position as an organisation of being the failures like that. Okay, that's a full list of stations worked. We had 18 check-ins, which is 1% of the membership, give or take again, so we're back to what we used to have. And I was operating and logging all by myself today, which didn't go too badly. So I'll close the net, thanking everybody for taking time out of your schedules to participate, be you evading a rainy day or too hot day as appropriate. Be careful, have a good week, and until next Sunday afternoon at 1600 hours local time, I'll close the Raynet-UK weekly activity period and return the talk groups to open rather than directed nets, so you can call anybody as you see fit. 730, this is Gus 4 November Romeo Charlie now closing and reverting to my normal call sign. I've got 0 Delta Uniform Bravo. Bye bye.